Good evening to our neighbors in the Mesa, Beulah, and Rye regions. We welcome you tonight to our District 70 Teletown Hall. We're pleased to have you join us as we discuss some critical issues facing our schools in our Mesa, Mountain, and West regions. As we begin, I'd like to remind everyone this is an interactive forum, a time for you to ask your questions. It's easy to participate. If you have a question, please simply press *3 on your keypad, and you'll be placed in our queue just as if you were raising your hand. You won't interrupt us, so don't hesitate to press *3. Thanks to the hundreds of callers who've joined us. We are just waiting on our dialing to finish up, and for us to ensure we've given our neighbors a chance to log in and accept the call. Tonight we'll hear from Superintendent Ryan, who will provide an overview of the life safety issues currently affecting all of our schools. These issues are urgent and they require immediate attention for the safety and well-being of our students, staff, and our communities that you're a part of. Without further delay, it's my pleasure to introduce Superintendent Rhonda Ryan.
Good evening. I would like to touch on the success of our bond issue to begin with. We are currently closing out our bond projects with the completion of Skyview Middle and Cedar Ridge Elementary's additional classrooms, as well as Sierra Vista's expanded lunchroom and rebuilt boiler. We have completed all of our projects on time and on budget. If you go to our website, there are lists of projects for each school that were completed with pictures and a list of items for each school that we would like to address with a mill levy override. Bonds are a one-time expenditure to build schools, classrooms, and for capital improvements, but it cannot cover continued preventative building maintenance, academic programs, or teacher pay. Bonds are similar to taking out a home improvement loan that has to be paid back over a set number of years. A mill levy override would provide the continued funding that is needed to address critical needs that come up every year. The MLO that we are asking for would provide District 70 the opportunity to provide matching funds for 2 BEST grants that we have received, addressing critical safety issues at Pueblo County High School, upgrading their sewage septic system that was built for 700 people, and we currently have 1,200, to replace the roof and address the replacement of fire alarms that cannot be updated at 9 schools throughout Pueblo West, Rye, Beulah, and the Mesa regions. An MLO would also provide the opportunity for our district to remain competitive with wage increases and would allow us to recruit and retain teachers for the amazing programs that we provide in our district, including our vocational career tech ed.
Thank you, Rhonda, for that introductory overview. District 70 neighbors, we have hundreds of people on our call from Mesa, Mountain, and Mesa Mountain regions, which includes Beulah and Rye. Please keep those questions coming in. In the meantime, let's hand this back off to Rhonda as she explains why District 70 is pursuing a ballot question 4A this coming November 5th. Rhonda?
The school board has unanimously agreed to put question 4A on the ballot this year. We are asking for a 7 mil override, which would provide $7 million or just under $700 more per student. District 60 already receives $820 more funding per student without a mill levy override. There are only 6 schools that are funded lower than District 70, and it's by less than 3 cents. Each of those 6 districts have a mill levy override to provide opportunities for their students. This makes School District 70 the lowest funded district in the state. We are underfunded because the state will not recognize our unique blend of rural districts and are funding us as an urban school district. They do not recognize and fund our at-risk populations in some of our more rural areas. We want to see your tax dollars being spent in District 70 and not being utilized to backfill other districts throughout the state. A mill levy override will ensure that your money is being used right here for your students. We have received 2 BEST grants, Building Excellent Schools Today, also known as marijuana money, but we have to have 55% matching funds. The grants are for nearly $3.9 million, but we must match nearly $4.9 million. If these BEST grants aren't able to be fully utilized, they will return to the state for redistribution to other districts. We deserve to take advantage of this marijuana money, as many of these businesses are in our county, and this money should not be given to other districts throughout the state. We hope that you will help us keep Pueblo County's money in Pueblo County. The BEST grant will address the 3 critical life safety issues, including the raw sewage that is contaminating the groundwater around Pueblo County High School, a roof that has sections that haven't been replaced in 48 years, and we have 9 fire alarms throughout the district, including Rye, Beulah, Pueblo West, and the Mesa areas that must be replaced because they are too old to upgrade.
Thank you, Superintendent Ryan. You touched just a little bit on that sewage. What does that actually look like in the day of the school? What's happening?
So right now, we have a system that was built for 700 students, and we have 1,200 students at Pueblo County High School. And so the sewage system is not able to keep up with the number of students that we have throughout the day there. And so we need to upgrade that sewage system to accommodate the 1,200 individuals that we have going to school there. We have received a letter from the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment with threatening a cease and desist and threatening violations of $64,346 per violation for every incident that occurs. And we have multiple incidents that occur every single month. There have been violations that have been up to 99,999% more than allowable fecal coliform and nitrogens in the groundwater system.
So this is definitely impacting the soil in and near our agricultural grow areas. Is that correct, Superintendent Ryan?
It's affecting our groundwater system. And so the groundwater system eventually goes back into the river or goes underground aquifers. And so we need to ensure that we are being responsible and that we are taking care of our sewage needs and not returning this raw sewage back into groundwater.
So we have sewage as an issue. Another concern that has been addressed is the amount of roof work that needs completed in all of our regions. It rained today. What can we expect in our buildings tomorrow with the precipitation that came pouring down this afternoon?
Well, we've replaced many of our roofs throughout the district through our bond measures, but there were sections that are still left untouched. And so those sections are the sections that we still need to address. And county had several different sections that still needed to be addressed. In fact, we have sections throughout our entire district where if you look at our schools, there are different sections to every school. And so sometimes one section will be completely replaced, whereas a section over a roof or a cafeteria may not. And so we want to put those on rotation so that we can continue to address those critical life safety needs on a yearly basis, rather than it always being a crisis that we need to address through a bond measure.
Thank you for that clarification, Rhonda, and for the important information that you're sharing. Neighbors, our question and answer time will begin just shortly. In the meantime, I'm going to turn it back over to Rhonda, and she can help us understand the outstanding academic performance and tradition that we've established in District 70. In the meantime, callers, I urge you to stay on the line. Simply press *3. That's your signal to raise your hand. Don't worry about interrupting us. We'll get to you as quickly as we can. But Rhonda, let's talk a little bit about the CTE and STEM pathways that we've established.
Well, I love to brag about our district because we have 21 out of 25 schools, including our charter schools, that rank as performance. All of our high schools as well as our middle schools are at performance, and our district is accredited. We have robust programming beginning with the introduction in middle school, including construction, manufacturing, agriculture, business and marketing, computer science, digital media, engineering and biomedical sciences, a law and justice academy, and an academy of theater and arts. We hope to continue to invest in vocational programming to ensure our students have the skills they need to obtain jobs and to further their educational opportunities.
Thank you for that, Rhonda. We're going to take our first caller. We welcome Micah calling from Pueblo. Not sure what region Micah is calling us from, but Micah, your plan for your question is to help us understand how to prevent students coming into our district from other districts. Can you clarify that question, Micah? And you are live.
Yeah, the influx of out-of-district kids and does the property tax doesn't follow those individuals. I know you get pupil funding, but as far as the property tax, does that, it's hard to increase property tax when that doesn't come from the out-of-district kiddos.
We do still get per pupil funding for out-of-district students, and in fact, if we didn't take all of the students from out-of-district that we do, we wouldn't be able to do some of the things that we do, because we do take approximately 2,000 students from School District 60, and School District 60 takes some of our students as well. So we do exchange some of those students, and we do get paid their PPOR for them. But you are correct, we don't get their property taxes, but we do want to make sure that we are providing for our students within our district, and that we provide the opportunities for our kids, and we keep our money in our county.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that answer, Rhonda. We're going to go ahead and take a call from Avondale. This is Rick calling about when our roofs were replaced. He's questioning if they do, in fact, go back to 1995. Rhonda, can you address that question? Rick, you're live.
My question was with respect to County High and the roof replacement there, because in 1995, the entire roof off the original school was replaced. That wasn't near 40-some years ago, so I was just checking on that.
So there are some sections of County High School that are 48 years old for the roof. And then there are other sections that have been replaced more recently. But as you know, living out in the county, we've had numerous hailstorms in the last few years. And when we have those hailstorms, it does deteriorate the lifespan of those roofs quicker than it would if they just had the normal wear and tear. So we have replaced sections of that roof, but we have not replaced the entirety of the roof. And so, yes, we do have some sections that are upwards of 48 years old.
Thank you, Superintendent Ryan, for that important overview. Remember, we are now open for your audience questions. As a quick reminder, please just keep your questions focused and on the topics we discussed tonight, particularly the life safety issues and the MLO proposal coming to us in that ballot question this November. If you would like to ask a question, simply press *3 and you'll be placed in our queue. It's the same as raising your hand. This will allow you to ask your question in our live platform. We'll do our best to get to as many callers tonight as possible. If we don't get to you and your question during this call, we encourage you to remain patient and we'll follow up with you afterward. Rhonda, can we talk just a little bit about starting pay for our teachers in District 70?
Sure. Part of our plan with an MLO, besides providing the $4.9 million match for the BEST grant, is increasing our teacher pay. Our teacher pay is currently $42,000 and $42,500, and District 60's is going to be going to $50,000 next year, and it's $48,000 this year. So that's a $7,500 difference in pay. And if we aren't able to keep up with the salaries for District 60, then we are going to lose our amazing teachers who do great things for our district. The mill levy override would also help us to recruit and retain our career technical education teachers, which are becoming very, very difficult to find. We pride ourselves with our CTE courses that we offer throughout our district, but we do have to be able to pay our teachers in order to keep them. And we're not looking to lose our teachers to District 60.
Thank you, Rhonda. Let's talk a little bit about the nuts and bolts of cost. So as a homeowner, what does this look like on their property taxation?
So we're looking at 7 mills, which is $7 million, and it would come up to around $3.89 per $100,000 of assessed value. And so I did a little bit of research today, and I saw that the average home price selling in Pueblo County was around $300,000. And so a $300,000 home of assessed value would be $11.67. So that's, less than $15 a month or less than $12 a month. We're asking taxpayers to help invest in our teachers, invest in our students, and invest in our district. And the great thing about a mill levy override is this keeps our money in our district. And so this money isn't sent to the state for redistribution. All money that is received by our district through a mill levy override is kept in School District 70.
Excellent. Thank you for that. We have a call coming in from Avondale. Tonight we welcome Amy. Amy, you have a question about the property tax increase and what would it actually be. Did we answer that question, Amy? For some reason, it looks like we might have lost Amy. Amy, please try to give us a call back. For some reason, you've been dropped. Let's remind you that if you'd like to ask a question of Superintendent Rhonda Ryan, it's simple. Simply dial *3 on your keypad. Rhonda, can you talk about specifically the BEST grant, and is that a one-time application that the district makes? How does that look? Tell us a little bit more about future grants and what that's going to do for our district.
Sure. BEST grants are marijuana money that is 100% provided to BEST grants, and they are provided for capital improvements. And so we can continue to apply for BEST grants year after year after year to do matches for any sort of capital improvement. So these roofs that we are looking to replace and put on a rotational basis, we can continue to apply for these BEST grants to find matching funds. And so the state will give back to us some of that marijuana money that we are producing. Right now we have 2 grants to provide for our safety, our fire safety, as well as our roof and our sewage system. So we have a $3.9 million BEST grant, and we have to provide a $4.9 million match for that. And so it's a 55% match. If we don't come up with a 55% match, then that money is redistributed back to the state, and the state takes that money and gives it to other districts. So it's very important that we utilize that BEST grant that we've been awarded, so that we can make sure that we can do as much as possible with that kind of money. I mean, we're basically almost doubling our money by utilizing the BEST grants, and we can continue to do that and apply for these grants year after year, but they are highly competitive.
Thank you for that answer, Rhonda. We have a call coming in from the Mesa. Tonight we welcome Peter. He has a question, but in the meantime, let's remember to dial *3 on your keypad so that you'll end up in our queue. Peter, you are live, and your question is about how much of the money is actually going to stay in Pueblo and in District 70. Go ahead with your question, Peter.
Oh, yeah, so I've looked over your budget, and it looks like you guys really are on, pinching pennies around. So if we were to vote yes on this, how much of it's going to stay local?
So 100% of a mill levy override stays in Pueblo School District 70. So this would ensure that every dollar that you're investing in this MLO stays with our district. It's not put back to the state for redistribution. It just comes directly to our district to utilize for our needs. District District 70 does not have a mill levy override, and District 60 gets paid nearly $870 more per student than we do, and they don't have a mill levy override either. And so District 60 gets more money than us, and so that gap between pay, that gap between providing opportunities for kids continues to grow as we continue to see disparaging gaps between pay for our District 60 and District 70 students and our teachers. It's important that we are going to invest in our students and our community and just keep our tax dollars local.
Thank you, Rhonda. We just wrapped up this bond, as you touched on early in our call. Where are we going in the future of District 70? We've got gray water seeping into our septic systems. We've got roofs that are leaking. Bonds are only a temporary fix for this. So how important is it that this community supports us on this mill levy override question in November?
Well, it's extremely important because we have to address these critical life safety issues. We have no choice other than to address our life safety issues and to ensure that our teachers are paid a fair price or they will leave our district. We do an amazing job. People always point out we are performing. We're doing a great job with very little. And we want to continue to be able to do a great job for our students. But our students deserve to be in these schools without roofs leaking, without ceiling tiles falling in, without all of the things that they shouldn't have to worry about. These are things that we should be able to take care of for them so that they have a safe and secure learning environment.
So important. We have so many celebrations happening in District 70. Remember, if you'd like to ask your questions to Superintendent Ryan, now is the time to dial *3 on your keypad. We'll get to you as soon as possible. But in the meantime, let's talk about our high-performance schools. What does it take to maintain that status, Superintendent Ryan?
Well, we have to be able to recruit and retain our teachers. That's what it takes. It's our teachers who make these programs amazing. It's our teachers and our students, and it's our community. We're looking to provide marketable students for our community. We work very hard to find work-based learning opportunities in our district for our students, and we work with our community to do that. We're so supported by them. We do amazing things in the sense that we perform academically, we perform with our growth, and then we also perform with providing students with the ability to go out and get a job once they've graduated. We have high graduation rates. I'm always just proud of everything that our district does for our kids.
Thank you for that, Rhonda. We have a question coming in from the Mesa. This is Jay, and I think that it seems like Jay wants to circle back to what are the consequences for our D70 students and community if this does not pass in November? Jay, you are live, and you can ask your question right now.
Yes, I was wondering what are the consequences for our students and our community if this mill levy override doesn't pass?
Well, that's a really good question. Right now, we have letters from the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment threatening a cease and desist, letter with fines of up to $64,346 per violation for each day that a violation occurs at Pueblo County High School with that sewage system. We're currently, releasing basically fecal coliform and nitrates back into our groundwater system, and so we absolutely have to address the sewage system. The roof at County High has those sections of roof that are 48 years old, and we keep repairing and patching, but we eventually it's just worn out. There's no way that we can move forward with that. So if we're not able to provide this mill levy override or the match for the BEST grant, I'm going to end up having to spend every dollar that we do have to fix County High School because I don't want to close County High School. And so in order to prevent having to close County High School, I would have to spend every single dollar that we had, which would leave us literally no money for any other emergency that could occur. And every year we have emergencies that occur. Like last year we had a sewer line collapse at Rye. which cost $90,000 to repair. Those kind of things happen continuously because we have legacy schools. We have really old schools. So it panics me to think of an MLO not passing because I'm not sure how we would address any other safety issue that would come up if we spend every dollar we have on these critical safety issues that are absolutely necessary to address. And then the other thing that scares me is losing my teachers, losing my really good teachers because they can go to District 60 and make $7,500 more. That gap between District 60's pay and District 70's pay has to be closed, or people will drive the few miles to make that kind of money more. So we absolutely have to address these issues. I hate to, but I would hate to cut any of our career tech ed because we've done such an amazing job building those programs. But that's ultimately what it comes down to is cutting programs, cutting the budgets even further than we already do.
Thank you, Rhonda. We have a call coming in from Katie on the Mesa. Her question is about raises for teachers, and she'd like to know if this will support new positions. Katie, you are live with Superintendent Ryan. Go ahead and ask your question.
Just if along with raises for current positions, if there's any plan to spend that money on expanding or opening up new positions?
Can you elaborate on that? Because I have tried very hard to keep our class sizes down, especially at the elementary schools, to 25 or less, and then at the middle and high schools to less than 30. And so we certainly do want to keep our class sizes smaller. And I do believe that when I say safety and security, it is not a safe environment if we have large class sizes. So absolutely, it could potentially be more teachers. It just depends on the situation because I never want to make it where a teacher is unsafe and having class sizes that are large.
Thank you for that, and thank you for your question tonight. We encourage you to simply dial *3 on your keypad if you'd like to raise your hand to be added to our queue tonight. In the meantime, we're joined by a caller from Pueblo West. Tonight we welcome Mickey, and their question is about time frame. Mickey, go ahead and ask your question. I'm guessing that you're asking about how dire the time frame is for the improvements, but can you ask your question? You are now live.
So actually, it's not so much the timing on these projects and completion and being addressed. It's along the lines of how long this mill levy will cover with these grants. Is this something that has to be renewed regularly, or is this a longer term, or what guidance is there on that?
That's a really great question, and I appreciate you asking that. A mill levy is continuous, so that would ensure that we always had money to provide for these continuing critical issues that pop up every single year. And so I appreciate that question. It would provide the nearly $7 million that we are needing to, one, address our current critical issues. It would provide money for us to give teachers a raise so that we aren't losing them to District 60, and it would provide the opportunity for us to continue to invest in our career tech ed classes so that we're not having to cut programming. And then the next year, we put together a comprehensive list of different items that are going to be critical issues for the future. So we have rotating roofs, putting roofs on a rotational basis, addressing HVAC issues, making sure that we are oiling our parking lots that we've invested money in so they don't become like the craters that were at Pueblo West High School. And it's just constantly addressing these critical life safety issues that we have every single year. And that way we don't have to come back every 4 years asking for a major bond that's a crisis.
Thank you for that clarification, Rhonda. We have a call from Randy in Pueblo, and that question surrounds, again, teacher pay, us in comparison to District 60. Randy, you are live. Go ahead and ask your question tonight. If you're still in our queue, or if you're not, it's *3 on your keypad. Randy, you are live.
Yeah. So my question actually was, are we really at risk of losing teachers? Are we currently losing teachers? And to kind of piggyback off of
Yeah.
something you just said, like, what is the possibility of having to close one of these schools due to these sewage issues?
That's a really great question. Thanks for asking that, Randy. So I've already lost 11 teachers this year and 2 administrators to District 60, and District 60 is currently still hiring. And so the odds and possibility of me losing even more teachers in the middle of the year continues to be an issue. So it's very much a real issue. Teachers are becoming very hard to find. They're becoming hard to fill positions, and it's extremely hard to fill a position after school's begun. And so me losing 11 teachers is awful. I don't want to continue to lose these kind of teachers, and they were great teachers. They were great administrators. I'm sorry, the last part of your question was, what was it, Lynette? I missed the last piece of that. Oh, closing schools. So ultimately, it is not a goal for me to close schools. I do not want to close schools, and we will do everything in our possibility that's possible for us to not have to close schools. We will have to figure out what we're going to do in order to not close schools, but in order to not close schools, we would probably have to cut budgets majorly, and that's not ever a good thing, because then we end up cutting programming and we end up cutting opportunities for our kids.
Wow, we have some really candid questions tonight and even more candid answers about how imperative this is in District 70. Tonight, we're going to also acknowledge we have more than 500 callers listening to our call right now. If you are interested in participating with a live question, it's *3 on your phone keypad. And right now, we're going to move to Joan calling from Pueblo. And Joan's question is about how quickly the sewer system challenges can be addressed. Joan, you're live with Superintendent Rhonda Ryan. Go ahead.
Hi. Yes, Rhonda, I'm wondering if this is passed, how quickly would they be able to address the sewer system problem?
Thank you, Joan, for asking that question. The sewage system has to be addressed as soon as possible. There is some lag time on ordering parts and to get everything ready to go. I have been working with engineers to get this engineered ahead of time. So, the school has to be completely shut down. The sewage system has to be completely shut down in order to complete the sewage system upgrade, because we have to put in a whole new tank. And so
Sure.
I would have to be able to start on this by the end of May, start of June. So just like the second that students got out in June of next year, we would be ready to go, ready to roll. As far as the roof is concerned, again, I've been working with general contractors to talk about when we could get this started, as well as County High School. And we would have to start at least yanking off pieces of the roof over the spring break period. And just as soon as kids got out, we would go full force to get that accomplished by the end of next summer.
Thank you, Joan, for that outstanding question. And it definitely speaks to the urgency of this. We've just started a brand new school year, and we certainly want to remedy these issues sooner rather than later. These are all needs, certainly not wants. In the meantime, we ask you to press *3 on your phone keypad to be placed in our queue. Right now, we're going to take a call from Suzanne from Boone, and she has a question about leaky roofs and how that's going to be addressed. Joan, you're live. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, I was just kind of wondering here, I mean, how much of this is, can you turn into the insurance? And isn't this like an insurance issue to fix roofs and fix things like that? So I'm just wondering, how's the insurance?
So
what's going on there?
Yes, so we do have insurance, and we do turn things into insurance, but again, it's a very high deductible. Just like homeowners insurance, all of our insurance has increased as well. And so the issue does also become, though, whenever you have a roof that is 48 years old, they look at the life of that roof and they consider it past its prime, and so they do not give you the cost to replace that roof, a full cost to replace that roof now. And so they depreciate that roof, and so you do not receive a large amount of money for roof replacement. Again, you look at your own insurance, you think about how much your insurance has increased over the last year. Our insurance has also increased tremendously because of all of the hailstorms throughout the state of Colorado. In fact, there are some situations where they really just don't even want to insure us at this point. But we are paying high premiums with high deductibles for our insurance.
Thank you for your question, Suzanne. We welcome all of our callers tonight. We've had callers from the Mesa, Beulah, Rye, Pueblo West. Right now we're going to take Carol calling us from Rye, and Carol has a question about security in our school. Carol, you are live with Superintendent Rhonda Ryan. Welcome to our forum.
Yes, my question was, with this security, will you be able to add more guards or even law enforcement officers to the schools?
Well, that's a great question. So it's not on the list of things that we were looking to provide this year, but it is certainly something that we can look forward to in the coming years. We recognize the need for more security officers in our schools, especially our high schools. We do have regular SROs. Our sheriff department is always in our building, and the sheriff department has 5 SROs assigned throughout our entire district. And I can honestly say I go around every week, and I go around to different schools, and I never don't run into an SRO. There are always SROs in one of our schools throughout our district at all times.
Thank you for that question, and thank you to everyone who took time out of their Tuesday evening to join us tonight. On this call, we had more than 500 people from our very dedicated community joining us. A special thank you to Superintendent Ryan for addressing these critical issues, and to our neighbors. Your questions and your input are invaluable as we move forward to ensure the safety and well-being of our students, staff, and broader community. It's so important for us to realize that our schools are community hubs, and they serve as a place to gather for all of us in our 3 regions. If by any chance we weren't able to get to your question tonight, don't worry. You'll receive a brief post-event message, so you can simply remain on the line and follow the prompts to record a voicemail with your question. In the meantime, we encourage you to stay informed and follow us on Facebook and our website, and continue to engage with us as we work together to improve District 70 and all of our district schools. Tomorrow, you'll be able to find a live recording of tonight's 2 Teletown calls on our Facebook. We'd like to thank all of you for joining us, and have a wonderful evening.